James had spent years traveling alone through the deep corners of the galaxy, never truly connecting with anyone. His mission was always clear: deliver supplies, follow orders, get paid, and move on. People were just part of the job, nothing more. But as he floated silently in the cockpit of his small spacecraft, heading toward a desolate moon in an uncharted system, he felt a strange emptiness gnaw at him. His journey had been lonely, and the silence of space only intensified the isolation he had come to accept as his life. Landing on the barren moon, he could see nothing but desolation, jagged rock formations, harsh winds, and an atmosphere that was barely breathable. There was no sign of life, just the remnants of an abandoned research station. But as he stepped out into the dust and began his search for supplies, something unexpected happened. His eyes caught a strange movement in the distance, an object in the shadows of a nearby canyon. Curiosity nudged him forward. When he reached the source of the movement, he saw her, an alien girl, floating just above the ground, her pale blue skin contrasting sharply against the dark, rocky terrain. She had no legs, just a smooth, flowing body suspended in the air by an unknown force. Her platinum hair bobbed gently in the wind, and her large, black eyes fixed on him. James froze for a moment, unsure of what to do. He had never encountered an alien like her before. No legs, no means of mobility. Just the faint hum of her floating form. She tilted her head slightly, regarding him with an unreadable expression. "You're not from here," she said softly, her voice echoing strangely in the cold air. He took a step forward, still unsure whether she was a threat or a figment of his imagination. "I could ask you the same thing," he replied, his voice rough from the dry atmosphere. The girl's lips curled into a faint smile. "I'm not from anywhere," she answered cryptically, her gaze never leaving his. James felt the familiar sting of isolation. He had lived most of his life without anyone who truly understood him, no real friends, no lasting connections. But here she was, this alien girl with no legs, and yet she seemed so complete. Her serenity was strange, but it wasn't unsettling. It was as if she had found peace in the harshest of conditions. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The silence between them felt heavy, full of unasked questions and forgotten stories. The girl's presence reminded him of his own loneliness. He had no friends, no family, just the cold, vast emptiness of space to keep him company. She, too, seemed to carry her own burden, though hers was more physical, something he could never understand. "Who are you?" James asked, breaking the silence. "I am no one," she said simply. "And you, human, are just like me." Her words hit him harder than he expected. It was true. Despite all his travels, all his experiences, James had never truly connected with anyone. He was just another wanderer, adrift in the universe. "Why are you here?" James asked, trying to change the subject. He needed to focus on something else. "I was left behind," she replied, her voice soft, almost wistful. "I have no place to go. No one waits for me." James could relate to that feeling all too well. He had always been a solitary figure, never sticking around long enough for relationships to form. His mission, his purpose, had always been clear, but at the end of the day, he was just another faceless traveler in a world full of strangers. The girl's floating form shimmered in the dim light of the twin suns, and for the first time James realized that he wasn't as alone as he thought. He had always thought loneliness was a condition unique to him, but here was someone, an alien no less, who understood it in a way he could never have imagined. "So you float?" he asked, trying to lighten the mood. "That's a pretty impressive skill." She looked at him and smiled again, a small, knowing smile. "I have no legs, no body like yours. But I can float, and that is enough for me." James couldn't help but laugh softly. "I suppose we all make do with what we have." The silence returned, but this time it was different. It wasn't uncomfortable or awkward. It was as if they both understood each other without needing to speak. Two lonely souls, each adrift in the universe, yet somehow connected by their shared isolation. As the day wore on, James spent more time with the girl. talking about their lives, about his missions, her survival on this desolate moon. It was clear that they both had learned to adapt, to survive on their own. But there was also something unspoken between them, a quiet understanding that perhaps it was time to stop surviving and start living. Nightfall came, and James prepared to leave. His ship was fueled and ready for takeoff, but as he stood at the entrance to his ship, he realized something. He didn't want to leave. Not yet. The alien girl floated up to him, her eyes soft. "You're leaving?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I have to," James said, though he didn't truly believe it. "I can't stay here. I have my mission. I have to keep moving." The girl nodded slowly, but there was no sadness in her eyes, only a quiet acceptance. "You'll never be alone, not if you choose to stay connected," she said, her words gentle but powerful. Loneliness is a choice, just like companionship. James stood there for a long moment, feeling the weight of her words. For the first time in years, he realized she was right. He didn't have to be alone. He had always believed that being alone was easier, that it kept him safe from disappointment. But now he wasn't so sure. The girl had opened his eyes to the possibility of something more, something deeper. "I'll come back," James promised. "Maybe not today, but soon. I don't think I can stay away." The alien girl smiled again, her platinum hair shimmering in the dim light. "I will be here." James boarded his ship, his mind buzzing with the girl's words. As the ship's engines roared to life and he lifted off from the moon, he couldn't help but look back at the lonely figure standing beneath the twin suns. For the first time, he felt the pull of something greater than the endless void of space. He wasn't alone anymore. And maybe, just maybe, he didn't have to be.